You don't do it. No, you don't do it.
Come on.
Okay, ready?
Boo. Boo.
I gotta do it one more time. Ready? That does help me.
I can't believe I
somewhat.
can't clap.
Well, the one you did really took me a while to get everyone's clap in sync. Okay.
Good afternoon. It is afternoon.
Yeah,
Why is it afternoon?
It's afternoon because that's how busy we are at Littlefield Agency right
That's
now.
how busy we are. Also, Roop and I sat down to record this morning.
Oh, yeah. Not the usual technical difficulties, all new technical difficulties.
Our podcast recorder thing here was low on battery.
Yeah.
So
We had one
Sammy
bar.
goes to replace batteries. Fun fact, at good old Littlefield Agency, we have 4 AA batteries at the agency.
Rechargeables, yeah.
And we don't have any more.
There was a time when we had like 24.
5,000.
Yeah, there used to be a lot.
Oh my gosh, they were like everywhere.
I've taken it for granted.
Anywho, so we had to charge up the whole system here, but we are here. It is just after 2:00.
It's hopefully recording.
Roop,
yeah.
you're drinking coffee. Roop's got coffee. I've got
coffee.
water.
Did I tell you the new Brenda Lewis, who we've
Did you
discussed?
announce her last week? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, good.
We did. Yeah, Tom
She's
did a nice
fantastic,
job.
by the way.
She's a big coffee drinker. I found out she'll drink it all day long.
Apparently, she drinks 6 cups. And Roop, that is very in line. You guys are going to be buddies.
Yeah,
Also, Roop, real quick before we dive in, can you tell about the woman that just walked through the space and the praise you got from her?
Why would you make me praise myself? Okay.
No, it's great.
Here's what happened.
Roop looked like a kid on Christmas.
Sam doesn't know the whole story. So we just had a woman come through and is touring.
Yep.
And Sam gives a tour, and he'll kind of walk around the non-creative side of the office. Then he comes to the creative side. Well, we've been trying for many years to get Sam on this tour to come towards where Rocco sits, because there's a space that we do different things in front of Rocco.
Yes.
Some shells and some different stuff. And today he didn't get to creative yet, and he went ahead and showed her our new chalkboard in the hallway,
cool.
which is great.
The Littlefield family candid Polaroids.
Yeah, it's Polaroids, little chalk thing. It's really nice with our new wood benches.
Probably 75 pictures. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot on there.
It's really cool.
It looks really cool. So anyhow, he ducked in to do that, and Rocco turned around to me and goes, "Hey, he's never going to come look at your shelves." And then he said they're my shelves, not my shelves, the agency shelves. But about 3 weeks ago, Sarah and I redid those shelves, and we put we call it family photos on there. So they're not really candid. They are, but they're photos of.
Good.
Those are coworkers at the agency, clients. David and Marilee are on there.
That's exactly right.
It's just kind of a collage of things we do. Imagine your Facebook or your Instagram come to life in frames, right? Yeah. And we'll change these out over time. So anyhow, we thought it was a pretty good part of the tour. I thought, man, this may work. Rocco says, "Oh, look, Sam's not even coming this way. You lose." And I was like, man.
And it hits me on the tour.
And I said, your ears must have been burning, because just as you did skip us and we're going toward, I can't be creative, and then you're going into the kitchen, I said, man, I got to get him to come back this way. And you did on your own.
Dude, that is Roop and Sam intuition.
It was mental, yeah. And so you turned around, you came over, you showed this young woman the new shells, and she said,
her name's Taylor.
Taylor, yeah. Not to be confused with our other Taylor Armstrong.
Taylor, yes.
But Taylor came through and was looking at it, and I was really proud. I liked how you said, "Hey, this is us, and this is our client that's in Seattle, and this is our client that's in Mound Ridge," and you did a good job with it. And I was like, "Oh, I'm so proud."
Yeah, no,
and that was the end of it. I felt like I had won, because Rocco kind of turned and looked at me, and I was like, "See,"
and like Rocco's kind of giving you shit, and it's whatever,
which is what we do back there.
It gets better.
It gets better. So then I'll call her new Taylor.
New
Taylor turns around and comes and introduces, "Hi, I'm Taylor." I said, "Hello, I'm Roop," and she says,
and she knew who you were.
This is really great. This is so fantastic. This wall of photos and with you guys and your clients and all that. I was over the moon. And then she says, "Oh, I know who you are. I listened to the podcast."
And by the way,
she says, "I use those. I work for a B2B group, and I use a lot of those things you guys talk about, those trends and those digital perspectives at work. The things you guys talk about, I talk about with my agent."
Pause. At this point, Roop, his eyebrows are raised. He's like slouched, kind of sitting back in his chair.
I couldn't have been happier.
No, this was nirvana. Anyway,
I hurt my back this morning, and that moment healed it. Is what happened.
So to this new Taylor that walked through, just enjoying the space while she's in town, thank you.
You really made an old man's day.
You are a delight. Well, Rip, I tell you, it feels like it has been eons since we podcasted because I had the stomach bug last week. And it was awful.
Yeah, you were really kind of knocked down and out.
It was rough. I'm back. It feels good. To our listeners that are avid listeners, everyone knows that our Roop and Sam steak dinner was supposed to happen last week. I had to bail. I'm actually very glad I bailed. We have that rescheduled for December 1st.
Is that 2 weeks,
It's
right?
2 weeks,
Yeah.
2 Thursdays from now.
Yeah.
I think that'll be – honestly, man, that kicks off December. You know, it's my favorite time of year. I think this is working out for the better.
Yeah, it was meant to happen.
It's going to be a great dinner.
It's going to happen.
Baruch, talk to us. Last Friday, we visited Kipp High School.
We did. So we've
about 10 minutes from here.
We've mentioned this a few times on the podcast. I think Kipp is a charter.
A charter high school
here in town in Tulsa that we have partnered with to do a little bit of a marketing kind of educational back and forth mentoring situation with some of their students.
Yes.
And there's a scholarship competition attached to this. So we've met with them virtually. With the students. They all came up here.
Rocco and Brock are mentors.
We're the mentors, yeah. And so they all came up here and toured a few months ago in person.
Which was awesome.
It was really good. And they're on the family wall, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I told Raquel. It's super cool.
Make sure New Taylor knew about that. So yeah, they came through and toured, and then we've had some Zoom meetings with them before school starts. A couple of Fridays over the last couple of months. We're kind of going through and trying to get them to come up with a product or an idea or a service that they want to sell, and they have to think about who their audience is, how they're going to market to that audience,
what's your
campaign, what's your differentiating, all that stuff.
Value prop, yeah.
So we've been doing that. Last Friday we went there. We went to Kipp in person and got a very fast but good tour of the school, and I was blown away. I really was like, my kids went to the wrong school. This is incredible.
It was powerful.
It was really, really neat. There's no aspect of it I couldn't have been more impressed with. What they've been there 3 years, and the things they've done to that space in 3 years is incredible. I mean, it was cool.
Just that mural wall, I'll say the energy of the students.
Yep.
And then just as they were, Roop and Rocco and Brock were kind of fine-tuning, they're doing somewhat final preparations. The pitch competition is December 9th.
We did a tour, and then we broke off with our groups.
Correct.
And my group's only 2, so I feel like I got an advantage. We'll find out in a few weeks.
It's getting competitive internally.
Yeah.
Anyway, stay tuned. It's going to be a really cool December 9th here at 4 o'clock. Right across at the event center that's just across the breezeway here at the agency.
Down in the lobby.
So that'll be good. And then on top of that, Roop is a traveling man. He just got back from Moundridge yesterday, and I heard it's a wonderful meeting.
Yeah, it was good. It was the whole
Very
gang.
Engaged.
The whole gang was there.
That's awesome.
We had Trent, we had Mike, we had Ruth Ann, we had Connie.
Love it.
And we had Brent.
Wonderful.
It's
rolling deep.
And Chelsea and you and me and Chelsea and Brock. Yeah. And Brock got back in record time. I didn't notice it until I think he told you on the phone on the way back. We'll be back about 5. He pulled in at 4:30, and this morning Chelsea was like, "Man, were you scared on the front seat with Brock?" I go, "No, why?" And she said he was really moving.
96 miles per hour.
I didn't feel it.
If the police are listening, that is not verified. It just felt like 96 miles per hour.
I wasn't paying attention, I guess. It seemed fine to me. But we pulled in at 4:30. I was like, wow, he shaved a lot of time off this.
He shaved a lot of time. But I'm glad it was a great day. It's good to have you back.
It's always good to see them. I had another meeting with Mike this morning, and more to come.
I saw
we're about to do a lot of really neat things with Grasshopper I'm excited about.
Super cool, man. Okay, your latest, your greatest, your digital trends. We're halfway through November. We have one that was not sent in the Little Bits email, but we're gonna. It's a timely topic. So we're gonna kick off with a little Twitter.
Yes, digital trend 1.
Sure, take it away.
And it just says on the script. It just says Twitter, not on the November POV, but worth chatting about.
What's chatting about?
Yeah. So it's hard not. The thing is, I feel like if we waited or had some perspective on it down the line, it might be less interesting. But we're kind of in the middle of the Elon era. So
did you coin that, by the way?
Sure.
I have not heard Elon era, and I saw it on the script today. I was like, it's actually pretty.
We're in the Elon era, and we've talked about this a little bit. I think we mentioned it in some of the POV articles, even if we haven't chatted about it on the podcast. This dude wanted no part of buying Twitter. Like, he was kind of bullied by the courts and by Twitter into backing up, something that I think he didn't intend to turn into this. So he's here, and if we're being honest, the early return to RMS. blue check marks for $8, imposter accounts, dismissing ad agencies, which is the part we really want to talk about a little bit today, I think, from an agency point of view.
The blue check mark point, right? $8 a month.
And then you can be whoever you want.
And so,
which defies the point of a blue check mark and a real verification.
And I would say the blue check mark being a verified
I don't
user.
know what he was thinking.
And, I don't know if that was just a slip through the crack, but here's the interesting thing. The company, pharmaceutical company that I'm totally blanking the name on.
It starts with an L, I want to say.
Yeah, something like Lisa, but Lila, so whatever. Anyway, they sell insulin and an imposter account.
Someone who had $8 on their hands and some time
got on there and said free insulin.
As them. They made their account. They made their verified blue checkmark account look exactly like this other business.
And the problem with that is that was not true.
Yeah.
And the next day.
Oh, it was the same day.
Same day, their stock plummeted 30%.
I think it was 30 or 35%.
But you should see the stock graph. Anyway, it's like, oh boy, that's sketchy. That's no bueno. Someone needs to check that one. And I think they've got that taken care of. But still, like the repercussions there.
Oh, it's so bad. And that's a real world money implication of a bad policy. So whether you like Elon or dislike Elon or think he's a visionary or a lucky guy who was born into a diamond mine, like whatever you want to think about him as an individual, this is where some policies are having some real world effects, pretty loose and quick. The other part of this that I was following over the last, it seems like it's been a month. It's only been a week or two. Ad revenue was down. People got worried about this and were pulling ads off Twitter, and that was freaking him out as someone who spent $44 billion on a $10 billion platform. That was no bueno.
And, we talked about this, and the reason we're sharing this trend, right, is for those listeners, especially in the B2B space, a lot of consumer, a lot of B2B brands have paused.
Yep.
To Rupe's point,
well, they're waiting it out.
They're waiting
it
out.
now.
Yeah. What's going to happen over the next couple of weeks? And I think some users are still engaging. I think a lot of people are just intrigued, right? Like what is about to happen?
We love a train wreck.
We saw. It was interesting. I sent this to the executive team today. This was via the Hustle this morning, and
I saw what you were about to say. I saw on Twitter yesterday.
Did you see it on Twitter?
Yeah, I've been watching it.
Someone leaked an Elon email, and they have until 5 p.m. Eastern today. So that is
about an hour and a half.
Close. Yeah, about an hour and a half. Yeah, hour and 27 minutes here. And he said, hey, we are going to have, and I forget the exact word.
We're going to be hardcore.
Hardcore. Yep.
Yep.
A lot of hours, lot of work, and hey, don't get us wrong. I'm not shying away from hard work here. But if you are down for this, click here. And if you're not, you get 3 months severance. And so, he's taking and again, I look at myself in a leadership position here at the agency. I don't think I'd go to that. And again, we run a 22-person shop here, not however thousands of employees are at Twitter.
And I know you'd have to ask me to set that form up because you can't do it. So I would know it's coming probably.
But anywho, so it's just, we wanted to include this because it's interesting. Is it a train wreck? Is it
it's a lot.
It's just a massive bump in the road.
And I would say, Sam, we don't usually get this kind. I mean, I'm sure
for a social platform, this is pretty.
This is something.
It's entertaining.
It's entertaining in some of the worst ways, but we don't usually get this kind of insight. A lot of this is public because he's talking about it publicly on Twitter, and so
he's transparent. That's
very transparent. Sure. You can't say he's not. Yeah, the thing that's weird, I mean, two more points, and we'll let this thing go until the next thing happens. One is I think that whole idea that click this button or get your 3 months severance package and we're going to go hardcore is kind of a weird thing to say after you've just laid off 50% of the staff. So like, hey, we know that you guys are going to be working more now because there's fewer of us to do the work, but we're really going to go hardcore, and if you're not all in, get out. Isn't a moral, I mean, in those moments you need some morale building. When there's been a layoff of any size, it's a culture shock. And so like that's a kind of awkward and weird thing. The other thing that happened twice, I believe it was twice, definitely once, he got some of his larger advertisers and media companies together, the ones that spent the money on the platform, like way, we're talking Nikes of the world, McDonald's. He got them all together, I assume McDonald's. They all got together on a phone call with him because they were concerned. They, these agencies like we would, they're saying, hey, we have brand reputations to protect. And so we're not real comfortable with someone creating a Ronald McDonald account and, going to town on some, posting some bad things. I think at the time they hadn't even considered what it can do to a stock price. But Elon was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I'm running the show now. And they left the call. One guy I read his account of it. He said, we wanted to be on Twitter's side here. We do have at least for our brands, we have a place in our planning for Twitter, and it plays a role that we find to be important. And I wish I'd known what that was, but because we've never seen much value in Twitter, at least for us right now. But he said we were rooting for this, and it didn't make any sense for us to continue when the CEO was basically telling us to screw off. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah,
and there wasn't one guy that told that story. There were 2 or 3 that were on that call, and they're like, yep, that is what happened.
It's different. I don't have hundreds of billions of dollars. So, it's
he doesn't either anymore.
Yeah. He's still got money. But it is. It's just, it's a different, it will be very interesting.
It's going to get, I think it's going to get better.
I think it has
yesterday, he kind of alluded to, he's looking for a CEO to take over his Twitter responsibility. So basically, per usual, Twitter broke somebody inside 2 weeks, which is about right. But as a Tesla stockholder, I'm really anxious for him to get focused back on the stuff that was working and not this nonsense. So, anyhow, it's interesting. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen someone bite the hand that feeds in the form of advertising dollars.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything where they're like, he told internally, he said, we need 50% of our users to have the blue check mark and pay the $8 a month, by the way, subscription. I don't even pay that for Disney Plus, and they have a whole library of Marvel movies and Star Wars I'm going to enjoy, right? We're the content on Twitter. We create the content. I think Stephen King or someone, was pointing out, shouldn't he be paying us?
It was
and I thought, man, this is about to be a real slippery slope right here. But anyhow,
so stay tuned on this.
Yeah.
On this trend. Again, timely, and who knows when we're sitting here, we're going to podcast next Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
It may not. Twitter may be gone.
Or it could just be normal, whatever.
We don't know.
Yeah, no, it'll be very interesting to see, especially after 5 p.m. Eastern today.
Yeah.
Leading into and segueing into digital trend number 2, LinkedIn adds a new accessibility feature, including auto captions on videos. Huh.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk, right? So auto captions, they're a big help, especially those with hearing difficulties. I think of my father; he can't hear very well.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're sitting in church or a meeting or school,
100%. I had a buddy watch a college football game during a wedding recently with auto captions. He'd get all the information. Do I agree with that? Probably not. But anywho, however, though, there are times when you want to watch video and you can't either turn it up, or hey, we're in a loud setting and you can't really hear, or hey, I've got hearing difficulties.
We know it helps engagement rates when you have captions.
And I remember this 5 years ago with Facebook when they did this, and it was because you got the people that are watching TV and you're watching your funny videos on Facebook.
They'll stay with the video longer if they have captions.
Exactly. Yeah. So, we look at this. Is this a trend? No, it's more of a good for you to know on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is also, again catching up to everyone else. I mean, that's really the truth. I think probably in a couple years we'll be talking about LinkedIn's new Be Real feature.
Yeah, and I do like, we talk about it all the time internally here. LinkedIn is an advertising platform. Not so much these days. A lot of people see it as hey, I'm searching for a job, and or hey, I'm going after a new business or a prospect or whoever it may be, and I'm thinking that in the agency realm. But
they have turned. I will say this. I'm rooting for LinkedIn, which I know is weird.
Which is great, 'cause a year ago, I don't think you would have said that.
Not even 6 months ago. Everyone's suspicious of my new LinkedIn attitude.
Yeah, are you getting kickbacks?
Well,
you've
they were
Aquafina a couple times on here too.
They were. I'm still holding out for that. LinkedIn was present at Inbound in Boston.
That's right.
That's all I'm going to say about that,
Mr. Boston.
So, anyhow, here's
I don't have to say what happened because those people can watch that on video.
Yeah, people listening can go watch the video what I just did. But here's the thing with LinkedIn, where I do think that they're useful to a business. As a knowledge database, I'm reading, people are starting to turn to LinkedIn. So if a company is putting a lot of thought pieces out or has a lot of how-tos or a lot of FAQ-type information about their company's business or service, there's some ways to get that content onto LinkedIn that others are looking for and will interact with and enjoy. That's stuff you probably likely already have on your website in some way, but you know how we talk a lot about, and I hope we do this, you try to go and meet the users where they live and where they are. And if they're already on LinkedIn looking around or curious about your business, your brand or whatever, if they come back to the site, great, but they're more likely to stay on the platform because they're surfing. So if you've got something valuable to tell them on the platform. And so LinkedIn's knowledge database and the articles and all that kind of stuff is actually having a pretty good play for engagement rates on LinkedIn, which is nice.
It's a good point. I think about what we do as an agency, what we do for some of our clients, right? Them staying on the platform, key point. Also, we're serving up a lot different content on LinkedIn than
it's
Instagram
not at all the same.
No. And we do a couple feel good culture things. Hey, it's important to see this is what this company stands for.
We want people to know that we are like that.
100%.
Yeah.
But no, it's a whole different strategy. Anyway, kudos to LinkedIn. They are behind, but they're.
I think they're still the highest stock price of the social platforms, which I'll never understand. But yeah.
Hey, they got some nice daily active users.
Their stock is a lot higher than Twitter's. I'll tell you that.
One more thing it's a segue, not a segue, a side note to Twitter. I have a source that their partner works at Amazon.
Okay.
And as you have heard through the news, there are potential layoffs coming at Amazon. And Bezos did something which I thought was pretty interesting.
Gave $100 million to Dolly Parton.
Sure.
Yeah, those layoffs are going to feel different later.
I don't know if it was if this was sent to the entire Amazon staff or certain departments, but they sent an email and said, "Hey, before we do these layoffs, if you would like to voluntarily lay yourself off." I've never heard of that before. Voluntarily
click this button.
Let's say click this. You
was it really?
You raise your hand. I don't know if it was a click a button or hey, email your superior, whoever, and here's what we're going to give you. You're going to get 3 months severance. Your stock would be vested and cashed out whenever you leave the company. But here's what you could potentially sign yourself up for.
So wait,
you can volunteer to do it. So
was the volunteer package better than the we're going to cut you later package?
I don't think so, dude.
Oh, why would you volunteer?
I don't know. You know what? That's actually a good point, Rube. There might have been something. Hey, if you do this, you get an extra something. You get extra 2 weeks pay, whatever it might be.
That's interesting.
But I was a very different approach of, hey, you had the chance to, and maybe it's, hey, that gives you, I know I'm going to have 3 to 4 months severance, whatever it is, and then
guaranteed.
I can go figure out my life and
not worry about all this
not have
nonsense.
to worry about it. I've got a paycheck coming in, and I've got 120 days to find my next job.
Bird in hand.
Different way of doing it, but also not the, hey, click the button or see you later. Bye.
Okay, one last side parallel this because I almost feel like it's gambling in a way, and how I feel about gambling. I like it.
Roopster's gambling.
Okay, so at the Monday night game this week, it was Washington and the Eagles were playing.
And Washington beat the Eagles.
They did. The Eagles' first loss. But there was a guy on FanDuel who was through their, they have kind of betting in a way, like what's going to happen in this game? Will this guy pitch how many innings, or in this football game will he do this, in this basketball game will he do this? Yeah. So they have things that parlay down.
About this. Go ahead.
So this guy was was prepared to be paid by FanDuel $135,000 if I forget which player, one of the running backs I think got 110 yards in that game.
On the money, 110 on the money,
or more.
Okay.
They were going to pay him that afternoon. They said, this is a one-time offer. We'll give you $21,000 right now, but you don't get the other thing. So basically, this guy had to decide. He had like 4 hours to 5 hours to decide. He had to decide whether he thought this player was going to get 110 yards for $110,000 more dollars, which was a lot. So we were talking to Rocco and guys back here were talking about it, and I was like, bird in the hand, take the money. And then I thought later, well, wait a minute, what does FanDuel know? They have all these stats, they have all this analytics.
Dude,
they know something.
That's where my mind went.
Maybe you don't.
So what did the guy do?
I don't know what he did, but do you think the guy got the 110 yards?
I'm gonna say yes.
He did not.
Oh, damn, really?
So the 21,000 was the way to go. Otherwise, you got nothing, right? So I don't know.
You think about that. That's 6 times your money.
It is, or it's nothing.
Or nothing.
I mean,
and that's why I don't bet.
I really wanted to try and find a follow up to that story before we went on today, and I couldn't find it. But I was like,
keep us posted next week. That's a good.
Anyhow, hey, do you want your severance now, or you get 3 months now, or 2 months later? Oh, gee, I don't know. I may not get fired. That's
interesting.
It's like what's behind door 2. It's like a game show. Everything we just talked about.
Well, everybody, we'll wrap it there. Next week, holy cow, Thanksgiving
week, yeah. And we're off on Wednesday.
We are off on Wednesday. We usually do a half day on Wednesday, but we're doing off because let's be honest, that half day on Wednesday is people come in and chit chat about their Thanksgiving plans, and they
a lot of people travel.
So people travel. So we're gonna have everyone wrap their week on Tuesday and get some good work done. Enjoy their families. But we will be back on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll record next
We're
Tuesday.
not going to miss a week.
We have a short turnaround for the podcast.
Short
Thursday
turnaround,
to Tuesday.
Yeah, Thursday to Tuesday. But hey, that's good content as you make a drive or catch a flight on your Thanksgiving holiday.
We do it all for you, New Taylor.
That's it. New Sailor. All right, guys. We'll catch you on Tuesday.
Adios.
Bye.